Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is Ehsan, and in today's video we're going to solve an interesting IELTS reading question, Cambridge 8, the academic version. It is better for this video to have this book in front of you and have your pen or pencil and take notes while watching this video and highlight the key important vocabularies, the keywords, or write down some notes for this particular video. And it's also a good idea to turn off any distractor, turn off your cell phones. I'm going to give you some tips and strategies how you can tackle this kind of problems. And it's also a good idea to smile and make yourself relax because this is going to help you, especially during your IELTS or TOEFL exam as well. If you're new here, please give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and also the notification bell. Without much further ado, let's jump into it. As you see, I'm going to go to this website, startcamp.com, and I'm going to give you the link in the description below about the reference of this video. In this website, you can practice different sections of IELTS exam. And go to in here. For example, in case of IELTS General, you can go there, but in this particular video we're focused on this part, IELTS Academic Exercises Practice Tests. I'm going to practice test, choose this one, and after some time we're going to choose Cambridge 8. As you see, you can see up until now the last one is Cambridge 18, and we're going to solve Cambridge 8. And you see that listening, reading, and writing, all of this you can have it, and test 1. Okay, practice, just you can actually practice the whole test, but for this particular video we're just focusing on reading. Okay, so here I click on here for this one and we can start the test. But in this video, I'm just focusing on reading passage 1. Okay. As you see, you can see in the computer-based IELTS exam, you can see the reading passage on the left-hand side and the answers on the right-hand side. Reading passage 1, a chronicle of time keeping. Our conception of time depends on the way we measure it. Okay. After reading the title and the subtitle, actually I'm going to highlight the keywords in the questions, in all of the questions for this answer, for this reading passage. I'm going to use this highlighter to highlight some key vocabularies. Which paragraph contains the following informations? For questions 1 to 4, it is some sort of hard questions to answer at the beginning, but I'm just going to go and highlight the keywords. A description of an early timekeeping invention affected by cold temperatures. Whenever they talk about cold temperatures, we can choose this one. An explanation of the importance of geography in the development of the calendar in farming communities. For farming community, they might have used agriculture. Okay. A description of the origins of the pendulum clock. Details of the simultaneous efforts of different societies to calculate time using uniform hours. Okay. Questions 5 to 8. For questions 5 to 8, look at the following events and the list of nationalities below. Match each event with the correct nationality, A to F. Again, just highlight the keywords. They devised the civil calendar in which the months were equal in length. This is the key words. They divided the day into 2 equal halves. They developed a new cabinet shape for a type of timekeeper. For a time of timekeeper. They created a calendar to organize public events and work schedules. These are the keywords. For this one, question 9 till 13, no more than 2 words. Choose no more than 2 words. This is important. Highlight this one as well. Be careful. And always read the question actually. How the 1670, because this is a picture, I cannot highlight it, but you can highlight it in your book. 1670, it's a great idea to find the answer for these questions. Actually, I can just jump into these questions, and these are really easy questions to answer and to handle it. Because this is a gap fill questions, and you can see a picture or a shape, and this is really easy to answer it actually. Let me just do this one. 16, I'm gonna actually give you different strategies in different videos, so you can choose which one worked for you. Let me just find 1670. Where is it? Just look at the passage very quickly. Move your eyes quickly. Here. This is the 1670. Probably the answer's in here. So, for first question, escapement resembling something look like. Okay? So, to address this, a variation on the original escapement was invented in 1670 in England. It was called the anchor escapement. Anchor escapement. Escapement resembling, which was a lever-based device shaped like a ship's anchor. Shaped like means resemblance of ship's anchor. Okay, I'm gonna write it down in here. Anchor. This is my answer. Now, question 10. We need a singular noun after that. This is where the grammar helped us actually. And the questions and answers are usually in order in this type of questions. So whenever I find the answer for question 9, I'm going to find the answer for question 10 probably in the next sentences. The motion of a pendulum rocks this device so that it catches and then releases each tooth of the escape wheel. Each tooth of the escape wheel. And question 10 and actually 11. And look at the picture. This is not going to be a tooth actually. This is actually the wheel. It's a round shape one, and it's going to be wheel. And for this one actually this is the tooth actually. It refers to tooth of this wheel. As you see, whenever I click, I can see the answer. It's because I'm already taking this test for myself. Okay, if you take this test for the first time, you're not going to see anything. Okay, for question 12, a dash which beats each dash. Okay, in turn allowing it to turn a precise amount. Unlike the original form used in early pendulum clocks, the anchor escapement permitted the pendulum to travel in a very small arc. Moreover, this invention allowed the use of a long pendulum which could beat once a second. Use of a long pendulum which could beat once a second, which beats each second. Here is second, and a dash. A what? A long pendulum, or just pendulum. That is going to be your right answer for this question. Or here it says that no more than 2 words. You can write actually long pendulum. Let me check the answers for the where you look at the end of the book, you can see Okay, in here you can write long, or if you don't write it, no problem with that. And for this one, actually you can write ships, anchor, or if you do not write it, no problem, and your answer for anchor is correct in the parentheses, which means that you can write it or no. Okay, now let's just move on to the other questions. Let's just go to the beginning. According to archaeological evidence, at least 5,000 years ago, and long before the advent of the Roman Empire, the uh, Babylonians, Babylonians is one of the names in this question, began to measure time, introducing calendars to coordinate or cooperate communal activities. These are actually public events to plan the shipment of goods, and in particular to regulate planting and harvesting. They base their calendars on three natural cycles: the solar day, marked by the successive periods of light and darkness as the Earth rotates on its axis; the lunar months, following the phases on the moon of the moon as it orbits the Earth; and the solar year, defined by the changing seasons that accompany our planet's revolution around the sun. It's talking about created a calendar to organize public events and work schedules. So the answer for this one is actually not Babylonians. You have to write on your answer sheet A. A as the right answer for this question. As you see in this, matching these sentences with this list of nationalities, they're not in order. And here, these are not the questions in answers in order. And also try to focus on some of the important vocabularies in here. I could not find anything about these vocabularies. Okay, let's move forward to paragraph B. Before the invention of artificial light, the moon had greater social impact, and for those living near the equator in particular, its waxing and waning was more conspicuous than the passing of the seasons. It's talking about seasons. Hence, the calendars that were developed at the lower latitudes were influenced more by the lunar cycle than by the solar year. In more northern climates, however, where seasonal agriculture was practiced, the solar year became more crucial. As the Roman Empire expanded northward, it organized its activity chart for the most part around the solar year. So, what is the answer for this question? It's talking about agriculture. Seasonal agriculture, it means that actually farming, it could be farming communities, and it's also talking about geography. You see here equator, latitudes. These are some signs to talk about geography. So 2 is actually paragraph B. T is 2 is going to be for paragraph B. And how about there is no mention of this list of nationalities in here. I couldn't find anything. Let me just check it. Roman Empire. No, there is no Roman Empire. Okay. Now let's move forward. Centuries before the Roman Empire, okay, the Egyptians, we have it, had formulated a municipal calendar having 12 months of 30 days. The months were equal in lengths. This is great. You see exactly the right sentence equal to this one, correspond to this one. And actually, I provided the keyword table for this IELTS exam for you guys to see this correspondence together, to review these vocabularies, a keyword table for you guys. Okay, so Egyptians here for number 5 for Egyptians, this one, B. So B is the right answer. With 5 days added to approximate the solar year, each period of 10 days was marked by the appearance of special groups of stars called decans at the rise of the star series just before sunrise, which occurred around the all-important annual flooding of the Nile. 12 decans could be seen spanning the heavens. The cosmic significance the Egyptians placed in the 12 decans led them to develop a system in which each interval of darkness and later each interval of daylight was divided into a dozen equal parts. These periods became known as temporal hours because the duration varied according to the changing lengths of days and nights. With the passing of the season, summer hours were long, winter ones short, only at the spring and autumn equinoxes and were the hours of daylight and darkness equal. Temporal hours, which were first adopted by the Greeks and then the Romans, who disseminated them through Europe, remain in use for more than 2,500 years. As you see, I read all of the paragraph, but I could not any answer. This is for just for the sake of this video, but in the IELTS exam, you have to move your eyes so quickly and just look for the keywords. You're not going to waste your time. You have to move so much faster than this. Okay, in order to track temporal hours during the day, inventors created sundials which indicate time by the length or direction of the sun's shadow. The sundial's counterpart, the water clock, was designed to measure temporal hours at night. One of the first water clocks was a basin with a small hole near the bottom through which the water dripped out. The falling water level denoted the passing hour as it dipped below our lines inscribed on thinner surface. Although these devices performed satisfactorily around the Mediterranean, they could not always be dependent on in the cloudy and often freezing weather on northern Europe. Freezing, which one? Freezing weather, cold temperatures. Okay, a description of an early timekeeping invention affected by cold temperatures. Okay, for number 1, the answer would be D. Now let's move forward. E. The advent of the mechanical clock meant that although it could be adjusted to maintain temporal hour, it was naturally suited to keeping equal ones. With these, however, arose the question of when to begin counting, and so in the early 14th century, a number of systems evolved. The schemes that divided the day into 24 equal parts. They divided the day into 2 equal halves. Varied according to the start of the count. Italian hours began at sunset. Babylonian hours at sunrise, astronomical hours at midday, and great clock hours, used for some large public clocks, is Germany. At midnight, eventually these were superseded by small clock, or French hours, which split the day into 12 hours. Sorry, I don't know how to use Control Z in here. Okay, 12 hours, maybe this one. Okay, great. Into 12-hour periods commencing at midnight. So, for French, the day They divide the day into two equal halves. So French for this one, F actually. And how about these two questions? A description of the origins of pendulum clock, no way. Details of the simultaneous efforts of different societies. You see, different societies, Italian, French, Germany, to calculate time using uniform hours to 12-hour periods. For this one here, and then divide the day into 24 equal parts. For uniform hours, they use equal parts. So this one is actually E, paragraph E. So here, paragraph F. The earliest recorded weight-driven mechanical clock was built in 1283 in Bedfordshire in England. The revolutionary aspect of this new timekeeper was neither the descending weight that provided its motive force nor the gear wheels, which had been around for at least 1,300 years, that transferred the power. It was the part called the escapement. In the early 1400s came the invention of the coiled spring or fuse, which maintained constant force to the gear wheels of the timekeeper despite the changing tension of its mainspring. By the 16th century, a pendulum clock had been devised, but the pendulum swung in a large arc and thus was not very efficient. So, a, a description a description of the origins of the pendulum clock. This is for paragraph F actually, because it's talking about the origins of pendulum clock in here, paragraph F. And how about this one? We have left just with this one. They devised a new cabinet shape for a type of timekeeper. Uh, Let me just look into this one. I don't know exactly, but I think we have to move forward. I'm not sure about the answer for this question. To address this, okay, to address this, a variation on the original escapement was invented in 1670 in England. Okay, it was called the anchor escapement, which was a lever-based device shaped like a ship's anchor. Shaped like a ship's anchor. The motion of a pendulum rocks this device so that it catches and then releases each bow of the escape wheel, in turn allowing it to turn a precise amount. Unlike the original form used in early pendulum clocks, the anchor escapement permitted the pendulum to travel in a very small arc. Moreover, this invention allowed the use of a long pendulum which could beat once a second, and thus led to the development of a new floor standing case design which became known as the grandfather clock. A floor standing case design, in which means that cabinet shape. And if you see this in these two paragraphs, just talking about time of a timekeeper device, which was built by England. So the answer is going to be English, people. For 7, actually, you have to write down on your answer sheet D. D for this one as well. Okay? Now we have left with no questions. We answer all of the questions, but I'm just going to read the last paragraph. Today, highly accurate timekeeping instruments set the beat for most electronic devices. Nearly all computers contain a quartz crystal clock to regulate their operation. Moreover, not only do time signals beamed down from global positioning system satellites calibrate the functions of precision navigation equipment, they do so as well for mobile phones, instant stock trading systems, and nationwide power distribution grids. So integral have these time-based technologies become to day-to-day existence that our dependency on them is recognized only when they fail to work. Okay, guys, this is the end of this video. I hope you like this video, and if that's the case, please give me a thumbs up and also share this video with your friend. I will see you in the next video. Stay tuned till then. Thanks for watching.